Hey folks, Brendan here from Blue Light. Now, if you've got a final interview coming up, sometimes called an in-force interview or senior interview as part of the police recruitment process, it's highly likely you're going to get asked the question, why do you want to be a police officer? And it's also likely, from my experience, that you're going to start off that answer with all sorts of cliches and nonsense that's just not going to work. Now, how many of you would have been tempted to say things like this? I just want to make a difference. I want to help the community. I've always wanted to be a constable. No 2 days are the same. My values are the same as the values of the force, and I feel as though we're closely aligned. I have a lot to offer. Blah, 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 blah. Cliches, cliches, cliches. They've heard it all before. Now, I know there's books out there and guidance out there that says that this is the sort of thing you should say. And last night in a webinar that I ran, an interactive webinar, a coaching session for my clients who are on my interview course. And by the way, if you want to find out more about those courses, link below. And if you want to find out more about the Facebook groups I run as well, there's also links below. There's a tremendous amount of support out there for you, either paid or otherwise. But last night, this was a paid service, 2-hour interactive coaching session where we coach by practicing. And before we practice this question, one of my clients said that she'd spoken to a chief superintendent who said, no, you should definitely say these things. Now, the first point is a chief superintendent. What do they know about police recruitment? There's no way a chief superintendent is going to be anywhere near any recruitment interview. The last time they will have interviewed someone, if they're a chief superintendent, as part of the police recruitment process, would have been when they're a sergeant or an inspector, and that was probably going to be 15 years ago. I'm just looking at the rank chief superintendent, probably about 15 plus years ago. So first point, what do they know? I don't want to be disrespectful towards the rank, but they don't get involved in this kind of stuff. And secondly, they're right. They're right. And we demonstrated this in an answer that one of my clients gave when I asked him why they wanted to be a police officer. So they talked about their initial inspiration. They used my timeline approach, which works so well. It works so well. Thousands of people have used it and it's worked so well. And then they talked about how they're involved with children at the moment and safeguarding, and they want to bring their experience into the role. Bring their experience into the role. All right, great, super. And they finished their answer. And so what I did was I went back to the client who said, well, I've heard the chief superintendent say that you've got to say these things. And she said, this woman actually said, I want to bring my experience into the role. I want to help people. And she came out with those little cliches. So I asked everyone to mark the extent to which they absolutely believed that she wanted to make a difference out of 10, where 1 is not at all and 10 is, wow, that's awesome. You are just nailing it. I so believe it's in your heart. And because she just claimed those things, they gave her a mark of 3. That was a combined mark, 3 out of 10. So what we did then is I went back and asked her questions about this experience that she talked about and this safeguarding experience that she had. Turns out that she's done a lot of work with young people, volunteering to support young people who are having difficulty with a variety of things in their community. She's worked as a leader in the guiding organisation, and she's got involved in all sorts of community-based activities, and we talked about what those were. And she didn't use any cliches. She didn't say, I just want to help the community. She didn't say anything about wanting to make a difference. And then once we'd finished that second version, I then went back to the group and said, so on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is just, no, I'm not buying it, and 10 is awesome answer. I so believe this is in your heart. In terms of making a difference and helping the community, came out with a whopping 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. So that's why the chief superintendent's right. You do need to talk about how you want to make a difference. You do need to talk about how you want to help the community. But talk about it in terms of how you've done these things, and let the assessor be the judge of whether you actually do want to make a difference and do want to help the community. So you don't need to use those phrases. So that's why I said before that the Chief Superintendent was both right and wrong. The right, you do need to persuade the individuals on the board that you are that kind of person, that it is in your heart, but don't make the bold claims. Anyone could do that. I could train an 8-year-old to say those things, but would it necessarily get them through the police recruitment process? No, not at all. But when you've had those life experiences where you've actually helped others, and it doesn't have to be, this was a more mature entrant, so she's already experienced about 15 years worth of supporting people and helping people and being active in a community. So that's not all of you. Some of you might be 17, 18 years old. So just think about the things that you've done so far. And if you haven't done those things, start thinking about getting involved in community-based activities. Start thinking about roles that you can take on that might be voluntary or otherwise, where you can help support other people and get involved. And then you've got something to talk about. All right, folks, hope this has made sense to you. If you want to find out more about those coaching sessions, then, like I said, check the links below. They're really intense, but they've got an amazing success rate. Such a success rate that I offer a money-back guarantee. So if you don't pass your final interview and you can demonstrate you've done all the work, I'll give you a full refund. How fair is that? Can I be any fairer than that? Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed this short video, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, wherever it is you're watching it. If you've got any questions, comments below, and I will get back in touch with you and hopefully see you very soon. Bye-bye for now.